We're here today to try Bashar al-Assad under the charges of use of chemical weapons, use of indiscriminate missile attacks, acts of torture and degrading human treatment, systematic killings and use of violence by governmental forces, mass arrest, abduction, enforced disappearance, and detention of civilians, deprivation of food and water, restriction and denial of access to hospitals. Prosecution, you may proceed to opening statements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Gas, gas, quick voice, and ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But there was someone still out there, yelling and stumbling, and flying like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, and under the sea, I saw him, drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. This is just a part of the poem Dulces de Cormes by Wilfred Owen, in which he depicts a World War I soldier's response towards a gas attack. Now, members of the jury, the fate of 1 million Syrian kids lies on our hands. Condemning Bashar al-Assad is the first step for change. Thank you.
Mrs. Anderson, thank you. Mr. Smith, please proceed to opening statements.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is with deep sadness and regret that I stand before you today. A man whose love for his country knows no boundaries.
He murdered my son!
Action.
Misguided, opportunistic foreign powers wish to exploit Syria's unstable political situation and overthrow legitimate presidents. And replace him with vile rebels who, despite their brutality and lack of morals, are much more likely to play into the hands of these very same Western powers. Please, 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 let us not commit the same mistakes of the past. Let us not allow an Arab leader to serve as a puppet for Western interests. May justice and truth reign in this world, not money and subterfuge. Please, for the love of God, let us have a just trial. Thank you, Your Honor. One does not really need to support the people, the opposition rebels, who not only kill their enemies, but also open up their bodies and eat their intestines in front of the public, in front of the cameras.
Action.
Are these the people you want to support? Are these the people you want to supply weapons with? Then, this is probably little relation to do with the humanitarian values preached in Europe for the last hundreds of years. These are the very same words uttered by Vladimir Putin in this year.
Prosecution, you may call up your first witness.
I call Abdullah Had from the Free Syrian Army to the stand.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Prosecution, you may proceed to questioning.
Thank you, Your Honor. May the soldier please express your feelings when I pronounce the word Bashar. B-A-S-H.
Objection.
Under what ground?
Relevance.
Your Honor, I'm reaching a point.
Overruled. You may continue.
Yes, soldier.
I don't even know how I can be in the same room as that man.
Soldier. Yes, Bashar, the one who loves his country and citizens. Can you express how Bashar has reacted to some of your first initial peaceful protests?
First, we used to think that the president and the army would protect us, but we can see that the army only We see how al-Assad army are killing and injuring innocent people who are only asking for freedom and a better life, but now wanting freedom is a crime. Maybe the real crime is wanting a future for their kids that are buried under the ground because someone who wants to be their president so much is willing to eliminate them for it. The people are still falling down. This dictatorial regime and the world is trying to stop with no results on the ground, just words here and there.
And soldier, how was the experience with the gas attack?
The missile attack killed more than 18 people, including soldiers, from their army and from ours. The president should lead a transitional government and agree to peace talks. So many people have died and more than 2 million Syrians have fled the country. Everyone hates Assad, but it's a regime that has been in power for more than 40 years, and the mukhabarat pervades the society. People do not trust each other. It's difficult to organize, and those who try to organize obviously haven't lived in Syria ever.
Members of the jury, let's take notice that the use of weapons of mass destruction was prohibited in the Biological Weapons Convention. Soldier, please proceed. Abdul Ahad, does that mean that you only attacked Bashar's police and military as a form of counter-reacting what he had done with the missile attack?
Of course it was a counterattack. As I said before, many died and many will keep on dying. So that's why we're building new communities based under the Sharia law, which names I won't mention. We'll live under our conditions, not Bashar's.
Thank you, soldier.
Defense, you may now question the witness.
You soldiers despise Bashar. You claim that he is a tyrant and that he used excessive violence, and that it is his fault the country is in such a chaotic situation. Can you honestly say, however, that the initial protests were actually peaceful? Can you also honestly say that under Sharia law, the minorities in Syria would actually benefit? Would you rebels rule better than Bashar, or would your government be more oppressive and more violent?
There was already violent actions towards us before we started protesting. All we wanted was our freedom, but the dictator, all he does is take it away from us.
In relation to the peaceful protests, there's no photographic evidence that the police instigated these massacres, the violence. What proof do you have that this violence was instigated by the police? Also, in relation to the missile attacks, what proof is there that they were launched from government facilities and not rebel facilities in order to frame Bashar?
Confirm it was the police who instigated all of this violence. I was there. And regarding to the missile attacks, I have no proof whether it was us, but neither do you.
Under Bashar's rule, there have been considerable civil liberties afforded to the citizens. People of different religions are able to express themselves in the cities. In a country in which a sizable portion of the population does not abide by Sharia law, is it really just to have people be ruled by Sharia law? Would those minorities not only lose the civil liberties they have, but also suffer persecution?
I've lived under the Sharia law for my whole life.